So when you're walking on your earth walk and you find a flower in your path, like this Alberta wild rose that I found just outside of a place I visited on the Siksika Blackfoot First Nation in Alberta. This photograph of this Alberta rose, which this is an endangered species, by the way. Well, you're also meeting more than just this flower. You're also meeting a whole revelation of history and time and space and energy. You're also meeting the implicit presence of every event and force and circumstance that had to be in place just right so that this flower could grow there, so that I could be passing by to photograph it just at the right time. So you're also meeting the sunlight that came down from the sky and warmed the soil and the waters that enabled this flower to grow. You're meeting all the minerals of the soil that have taken shape here as this flower. Right? Or you could look at this river. And every drop of water passing by this place is also bringing with it the implicit presence of everywhere it's ever been, and the entire water cycle, from the snow which fell last October, to the storms that blew it around in February, to the dogs that peed on it in March. Everything is all part of this, all going by, just like that. Isn't that neat? You know what else is neat? It's the same when you meet people. It's the same when you meet other people. You meet another person, you're also meeting the implicit presence of the whole of that person's life story. You're meeting everyone and everyone she's ever talked to, every place she's ever visited or lived in, every force or event that influenced her life, such that as a consequence, you're able to meet her in that place at that time. You're meeting all the implicit presences of all that person's ancestors too. That's the revelation. Poets are generally better at expressing this idea than philosophers are. So here's William Blake. To see a world in a grain of sand, and heaven in a wild flower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. This is a deeply spiritual idea. Yet it is not a transcendental idea. I'm not presupposing anything here that necessarily is psychic or immaterial. The revelation is an aesthetic revelation. It's also a revelation of narrative and storytelling, for which every person, place, or thing that you meet, there's a story to tell. And if you follow the narrative of the story back far enough, you eventually find that the whole of the world is telling you the story. And that with each new person, place, or thing you meet, you're being offered a new part of the story of the whole earth. This story includes you as a central character. And that story is a circle within a circle, no beginning and never ending. And furthermore, this story isn't finished yet. You yourself have something to contribute to. For even if we have been given a revelation like this, it doesn't follow that we will automatically know what to do. It is still a non sequitur to say, you were given this vision, and therefore you know what to do. You still have to make your own response. There's nothing in what I've said so far that suggests anything like a moral duty to respect or cherish the stone, or the river, or the flower, or the earth, just because it happens to offer you a revelation like this. The revelation is not a commandment to obey. It is a question to be answered, a problem to be resolved. The stone presents itself to us as a bearer of the implicit presence of the whole world, but its message is not, therefore do this, don't do that, can't you read the sign? Its message is, here I am, now what are you going to do about it? And that's the question we have to answer. To the immensity of the earth in particular, I think the proper response is to use that energy to awaken and sharpen your sense of wonder. Wonder is a very complicated quality. It implies amazement. It makes you feel as if you're in the presence of something important and magical. But it also implies curiosity. An object of wonder can be strange, unexpected, unfamiliar, maybe even dangerous, but it's still interesting. We might be stopped in our tracks by the beauty of what we see, but we also find ourselves wanting to know more. It makes us ask questions, speculate on possible answers. Thus, it has nothing to do with superstitious awe. It is also not the same as humility. Humility subordinates he who feels it. Wonder elevates him. Humility makes you feel as if you have to be silent and pensive. Wonder makes you want to sing. And most importantly, humility can be imposed on you. But wonder is something you have to deliberately cultivate. The unconquerable immensity of the earth is a fact that no one can ignore. But the beauty of the earth, no less a part of its immensity, is something you have to train yourself to see. And the wonder of the earth is sometimes best revealed in outdoor sports and activities that put the powers of our physical bodies to the test. So the body is like the earth, is made of some of the same material. And in the culture of southern Ontario, where we live, where we all grew up, there used to be, I wonder if there still is, a custom in which it's believed that everybody has to go off to Temagami or to Algonquin and have their week-long adventure in the forest, go canoeing or camping or something like that. And that when you're in late teens or early 20s is the best time for you to be going off to do this. You know, parents say that this is the way you build character, gain life. And so that's very, very. And this is one of the ways in which we can discover immensities in the earth too. There could be danger in the form of treacherous ledges and bad weather, encounters with animals. If you're a rock climber, you might find yourself hanging from a cliffside, looking for a handhold, and knowing that if you make a mistake, you'll fall, maybe be badly injured or killed. Or if you're a canoeist, like these 16th century French voyageurs, you might find that there's rapids or strong currents. You might lose control of the canoe. And, well, in such situations, you have only your own resources to rely on. Your own physical strength and reflexes, your psychological discipline, your spirit too, that energy. And serious choices are called upon you to be made, the most fundamental of which is the choice to capitulate or to persevere, right? The choice to either go on or to turn back. And the days or even weeks of solitude can call for patience and self-awareness. The practical result of these choices is that you find out who you are. Because you've put your powers and potentials to the test, so you find out that those powers and potentials are greater or lesser than what you had originally believed them to be. You don't need to be an outdoor adventurer, of course, to experience the wonder of the earth. You can just go to any beautiful place and just look around. It doesn't have to be dangerous. Almost a century after Wordsworth, J.R.R. Tolkien expressed his love for the same landscape when he described Frodo's feelings upon arrival at Lothlorien. Here's one of the words he used. It seemed to him that he had stepped through a high window that looked on a vanished world. He saw no color but those he knew, gold and white, and blue and green, but they were fresh and poignant, as if he had at that moment first perceived them, and made for them names new and wonderful. So I used to imagine when I was a kid that the Elora Gorge was, full of Celtic gods and native animal totems and characters from Tolkien's mythology and characters from Star Wars too. I was a kid, right? This is the Elora Gorge here, and maybe I wasn't far wrong because you see in this right up there, you see the face of the old man in the rock, right up there. Maybe there was somebody in there watching over and making sure that I didn't, fall and break my arms. So a lot of this park is, a lot of the Elora Gorge has obvious signs of human habitation. There's campgrounds, campsites, there's fences to protect people from falling in. Really, it's to protect the Conservation Authority from lawsuits, actually. It's not really to protect people. Sorry, I'm just annoyed by that offense. Wonder combines childhood imagination with adult curiosity. It is the ability to see the special magic in things. The same quality of the earth that presents itself as an immensity also renders it magical. Its mysteries and its hidden places invite us to explore and discover them. Perhaps we would not know and understand the world so well without it. Wonder enables people to see more than they would otherwise see, and so it opens up possibilities and creates choices.